We're here for the monthly APTelecom Video Expert Series, joined by Eric Handa, the co-founder and CEO of APTelecom.
Hey man,
Great
good to see you.
Great to see you, Eric. Likewise.
Good to see you.
So we have a special edition of the monthly Video Expert Series, and we're going to do this a little differently now than normal. Instead of having a dedicated topic that we're going to talk about, we're going to use the opportunity now just to talk openly about APTelecom now. What are we, almost 6 years at this point into it, and just the state of the business, how things are going, how the industry looks, and whatnot. And before we even get into it, I just want to say congratulations. As someone who's been along for the ride from day one, pretty much, it's been an amazing ride to see how far you've come and see where you are, and I look forward to catching up.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, yourself, North 6 has been invaluable. I'm not going to get all teary-eyed here, but no, you guys have been great. You've been invaluable for us, building a brand, trying to establish a market presence for the last 6 years. And since 2010, North 6 has been there every step of the way in terms of metrics, guidance, a pretty focused, and I would say the keyword being focused, laser-focused plan to get us from where we were in 2010 to where we are now. And it begs the question, where are we now?
Sure.
We've sold over $200 million for our clients. That doesn't mean APTelecom has made $200 million, but we get anywhere from 3 to 4% on $200 million. So you obviously can do the math, and it tells you where we sit in terms of what we've done over the last 6 years. We're pretty low key and focused on what we do. We try to take care of our clients. Most importantly, that obviously is priority number one. And it's been tremendously rewarding in terms of what we do and trying to help our clients around the world. But not all days are peachy keen. There's some days that are harder than others in terms of the business. When we first started out, we had very little cash flow. We had very little, except a lot of sweat equity and a lot of heart. And we've been able to still be here. We've seen some folks work for companies that don't work there anymore, and it's amazing. They come to us looking for jobs now.
That's going to be a good feeling.
Yeah, we still treat people with respect because it's just the way we are. But things are good. We're in it to make sure that we're responsible.
Sure.
I'd say one of the big things that we've taken a lot of satisfaction from is giving back. State of Subsea for us is our 501c charity. We've been able to give very specific donations to a lot of communities, a lot of children for technology, access to the internet, for tablets, particularly in Asia. That's something that we believe in very strongly. And you can't do that unless you're making money. And so we've tried to give back a percentage of what we've made, about 10%.
Sure.
And we've made that as one of our 2020 vision goals, to continue to get back in the markets in which we operate.
Hey Eric, just on that note, we're sitting here middle of 2016, call it 6 years into this. Just why don't you tell our audience a little bit about where APTelecom is today in terms of your customer footprint and also your service offering, because those are two things that have expanded significantly since the business launched.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but when we first started out, we did voice. We sold our voice business. That kind of helped us get started, but we don't do voice anymore from an APTelecom perspective. When we first started out in 2010, 2011, we did data arbitrage, simply buy low, sell high, take the spread, anonymity services. In Asia, it's called strawman services. So we did that. We exited out that business. But both voice and data arbitrage were, at the time, fairly important for us. They helped us get going. They provided margin and capital for the business. Now, we're really focused in on consulting, strategic consulting, sales consulting. There's times where we help our clients manage their needs in terms of getting pre-sales. The way you would build the system is a combination of debt and equity. The equity is simply you write a check. The debt is secured through off-take agreements, through pre-sale agreements. So, we're not all things to all people, but folks that need help in the subsea space, we can offer valuable help to help them incubate and start a project.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I can speak about firsthand is because we've been kindred spirits in this ride as entrepreneurs. There's been a lot of reasons to celebrate over the past 6 years. There's also been a lot of challenges and obstacles that you've had to overcome that I've been a part of. Maybe talk to our audience, especially those who are aspiring entrepreneurs, just about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome, and as you scale the business to where it is today.
Yeah, so look, I think you've got to believe in what you do, and you have to have your goals, and we do. We have I have personal goals, and from a business perspective, we have quarterly goals. We have a 2020 document that we've put in place, which is the strategic vision for the business. We're executing on that. It's a testament to just working hard and every day kind of grinding it out. We've got clients in every continent in the world, and we have 16 customers globally as a business. Our run rate's pretty solid in terms of what we do for a retained business, and then we obviously have a commissionable side of the business. But from APTelecom's perspective, I think the most difficult thing for any entrepreneur is you've got to be willing to really make tremendous sacrifice to grow your business. Whether that's flying coach and which we do today to save on T&E, but whether it's making sure that things are where they need to be. And you need to really focus in on touch points. Every day you should be communicating with your customer, making sure that you're adding value, because if you're not going to stick around.
Sure.
The reality is you have to be able to add value, pay for yourself, and make sure that they feel that they're getting a good deal.
Sure.
And we've been fortunate that most of our clients have retained us for our engagement when we started to even now, to 2016.
And it's funny because we worked hand in hand on putting together a value matrix to show what kind of value not only you deliver to customers, but customers deliver back to you. And it's interesting from where I stand just to sort of see the symbiotic relationship between the two. You deliver a very value-driven product and service to customers, and the good ones return the favor and stay with you and are loyal. You retain clients, your most loyal referral sources, and it's been a great ride to sort of see that relationship work out between you and the clients as well.
It is. I mean, one of the reasons why in 2010 we started the business was we wanted to have fun in what we did. We wanted to be able to sell multiple systems globally, not just one. And we wanted to be able to solve what we felt was a problem in the subsea space, that not enough responsible routes were getting built. No one was really focusing in on pre-sales at the time, and we were able to really carve out a niche. We're not a full service sort of outfit. We're very specific. I guess some of the folks maybe globally may not appreciate this analogy, this example, but if you're from, say, the U.S. or Canada or South America, and you're a baseball fan, we like to say, like we're a closer, like Mariano Rivera.
Specialists.
We would very much specialize, come in and do what we do, and we're strong at what we do. We're solid at what we do. We don't pretend to do all things and be all things to all people, because that's not what we're ever going to be, and I don't think we're going to add value that way. But for what we're doing and where we're at, it's financially it's been quite good. But it's more than that. It's about having autonomy as an entrepreneur, and there's value in seeing something that you've created grow in a responsible way. So from our perspective, myself and Sean Bergen, fellow co-founder, we're very grateful for a lot of the people that have helped us along the way. Our advisory board, yourself, folks like John Hibbard, folks like Mike Rieger. We've been able to really to grow the business responsibly. And 5-6 years ago, we were pretty rough and ragged bunch of sales guys. And I'm not saying we're seasoned executives, but we do have enough wins under our belt that the reality is we're still here, we're making money. And just head down.
Sure.
eye on the prize, stay focused.
One thing you referenced earlier in the conversation, Eric, was the Vision 2020 plan. And I remember when we first put that together, that's probably a year or two ago at this point. So here we are, midway through 2016, almost at the halfway point probably of when the 2020 plan was implemented, maybe a little bit less than that. But maybe just tell our audience a little bit about what's next for APTelecom and what our folks can expect to hear and see from APTelecom as you guys go forward.
I think our goals were very specific in terms of what we wanted to do in the 2020 document. We wanted to make sure that every client we work with that wanted to successfully build the submarine cable system did, in fact, build that system. And client alignment and risk profile, the beta of that client is quite important. So we look for certain factors. For example, do they lack subject matter expertise? Can we assist them in bridging that gap between knowledge and what they need in terms of capital to build their system? You know, I'm not a Pulitzer Prize winner in terms of a writer, and in fact, I suffer at times from dyslexia. So I'm just one of those guys that gets up, works hard, tries to get things done. But I would say that it's important who you work with, how you work with those folks, and the biggest thing that we can do is try to take on good projects and try to work with good people, because any amount of grand planning and strategy is never going to make it relative to simple execution. Execution and simply getting things done responsibly trumps strategy any day of the day.
Absolutely. So 6 years into this, you happy you made the choice? I remember when we started, flying over here from Asia with your family, and 3 months later, you had a business.
Yeah, I was kind of a reluctant entrepreneur, I guess. One of the things that we definitely believe in is betting on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we're very much into if you're going to take risk, bet on yourself,
yeah.
right? And I think that for us, that's been the biggest thing about making sure that we're able to focus on projects that make sense, and then we can add value. Hand on heart, you really believe that you're adding value, you're helping. There's a lot of sales in the industry. There's different types of sales. There's large transactions. There's mid-market. There's pre-sales.
Sure.
There's post-sales, and we care. And I don't want to speak on behalf of Sean, but my fellow co-founder at APTelecom, but we genuinely care about the health of the industry.
Absolutely.
I'm 41 years old, and I plan on staying in the industry for the next 15, 20 years, 25 years. So the health of the industry is quite important to us. And one of the things that we feel good about is that when a client invests $30 million in a system and they've recovered their capital before the system's gone in the water, that to us, that's a sign of a couple things. One, the model of APTelecom works. You can pre-sell to reduce your exposure. You can help your clients responsibly. You can add value. And that the industry is not afflicted with what happened in 99, 2000, 2001. Because with Y2K, the dot-com bubble bursting, there was a glut of capacity, and things weren't built out responsibly. I think that there are routes globally where you can make money, and the returns are not private equity returns of 35, 40, 50%, but you can still make between 15 and 18%, maybe 22%.
Yeah.
So if you're a pension fund, or if you're someone that's in that category, there are return on investment opportunities in the subsea space. I think the euphoria is something that we see, and I don't want to say we don't want knuckleheads back in the space, but I'm always cautious. There has to be strong justification for the business plan, for the route, for the demand. The debt to equity ratio's got to stack up and make sense. So from APTelecom's standpoint, I think that's vital for the health of the industry. The one thing I would say that we kind of see that's not healthy is the new systems that are being built, I think, are being built responsibly. And I think there's not a lot of distressed assets that are going to be built because people are pre-selling and they're making sure that their business case really stacks up. The concern that I see is that existing assets have a very high OpEx rate, an O&M rate, and those systems could become overburdened fairly quickly. We've actually started a new company called Stratanet that's not part of APTelecom that's trying to find a way to fix some of the O&M issues, operation and maintenance issues that may become an issue, because effectively you have a declining asset value of an asset, of a submarine cable, through Moore's law. Price erosion's happening, but you have a fixed cost in terms of your maintenance fee.
Yep.
So the delta, the spread is getting larger, 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 and larger, and at some point that becomes unsustainable and it's going to tip over. So we think that there are some existing assets that we would call post-sales or distressed assets, or underperforming assets that need to be cleaned up at some point. And that's an issue that the industry is going to have to overcome and really look at seriously, to start asking themselves questions about, hey, you know, we made an investment, the investment didn't pan out, how do we clean that asset up? Yeah. So,
well, Eric, I mean, as someone who's been a part of the ride from day one, I must say it's been fascinating, and very proud to have been along for the ride. As fun as it's been, can't wait to be a part of the next chapter, and it's going to be even more exciting and bigger and better things ahead for APTelecom.
Thanks for all your help, Matt, and it's good just to come in and talk off the cuff.
Definitely,
So,
appreciate
thanks.
it. Yeah.
Thanks, man.